is renewed. Oh, you know it's going to be a good one when it's Duke and North Carolina. The Blue Devils make the short drive from Durham over to Chapel Hill for a late season matchup with the North Carolina Tar Heels. Rob Conant and Kyle Stroud with you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Turkey, mashed potatoes, prepare them. But on the menu here today, Kyle, beat your rival.
And it's North Carolina Duke. I mean, you don't really need much more than that to get up for this game. Doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter how your season has gone. You're on one side, you see the other's name, you get up for this game. It's got built-in hype. North
Carolina has been led by Mabrey Shaffmaster all season long. How incredible has she been?
You know, the thing with her coming into this season, just a sophomore, was how's she going to handle being the focal point? Teams are going to look to her. The answer is just as dominant. Leads North Carolina in just about every offensive category you can think of. But the really impressive thing is she does it defensively too. Second on the team in digs this season, which reminds me of her counterpart, the senior, Gracie Johnson for Duke. Leads Duke in every offensive category, right up there with digs. The difference, though, is Duke goes the way Gracie Johnson goes. You see just over 5 points per set for her. Next closest teammate, she has almost double. So Duke really needs her to have a big day today.
She had a big day when these two teams met up earlier in October. Johnson had 16 kills, hit 217, but the Tar Heels got the win in 4 sets. So Duke looking to get some revenge here on this Thanksgiving Eve in Chapel Hill. Thanks for joining us here on ACCNX. Olivia Diaz will get us started. Here is set number 1. And an ace to get things going. And not a big surprise there, Kyle. North Carolina, they are really good when it comes to serving.
They are really a good serving team, and that's a focal point for Joe Segula and his staff. They're going to be successful. They've got to get some points at the service line.
Dug up in the front court here. Shaffmaster across court, and she gets things going offensively for the Tar Heels.
Her ability to go up and take a shot and have a position of her body that doesn't look like she should be taking across court is one of the things that make her so tough to defend. You have 2 defenders slide over in front. She just cuts it across the net and says, all right, I'll take the open spot.
She's been so good at finding the open floor all season long. For North Carolina, they'll go to Shaffmaster again. Dug up by Richardson. Here's Gracie Johnson, and the rejection for the Tar Heel defense.
At least in the first couple of points here, you see the Carolina play at the net. They got the message. Gracie Johnson is where the ball's going. They're focusing on her, and that's going to cut the court in half.
So a 3-0 start for UNC here on their home floor.
Another really good serve right there, though. Got Duke out of system and gives Carolina the opportunity. Got to have that little slide they were trying to run. Just a missed set. Give the point away.
A rare error from Anita Babick. The freshman has really settled in for North Carolina as their setter.
Yeah, 6-foot freshman, so somebody that can play on the front line and the back, and they went with a 2-setter system early and really have settled into Babick being the primary setter.
She's 6th in the conference, averaging just under 9 assists per set. What a swing there, but Richardson was ready for it. Shaffmaster off and rejected by the Duke defense.
Positioning so big defensively, it's the only reason Richardson comes up with a dig. By all intents and purposes, that should have been a kill for Carolina, but she's in the right spot at the right time, and it ends up turning into a Duke point instead.
So the first 3 points to Carolina, and now 2 straight points for the Blue Devils. Shaffmaster goes light with the attack. Underwood for Keefe. And we'll talk a little more about Carrie Keefe and how impressed Coach Jolene Nagel has been with her here in 2022 as Shaffmaster rips another one.
You could see Underwood, the libero, leaning a little bit towards her left. That was because she saw the cross-court swing earlier this set from Shaffmaster. Watch it on the replay here. Just that little bit of a movement to the left allows that ball on her right hip to be hit too hard to get to.
Oh, nice. And the response, Lizzie Fleming.
Love that quick middle, because on the near side, who you had was Gracie Johnson. That's who the defense is looking for, but little okie dokie, the middle goes up and gets the kill.
Another senior for Duke. They had their senior day over the weekend in that 5-set loss to Miami. And we got a chance to talk with Coach Jolene Nagel about how impressive and how important these seniors for Duke have been. Not just Gracie Johnson, but you've seen Fleming already in action, Devin Chang.
I feel like a lot of the attention goes to Johnson because of the stats, but there's so much more that goes into the importance of a player for a team, and ultimately what she talked about, a program.
How about senior Lizzie Fleming getting her hands up there for the block?
It's also something to keep an eye on in this match. This is the last time you're playing against your key rival if you're a senior. You already had the one earlier this season. This is it. Leave it all on the court.
5-4, Carolina leading it here in set one. Shaffmaster once again, and it will fall through for another kill. So we're seeing a lot of Mabrey Shaffmaster early on. One of the main reasons for that, Charlie Nego is a no-go here today for North Carolina.
That's a big loss for the Tar Heels. Under the weather with an illness, and really the 1B to the 1A that Mabrey Shaffmaster is. So I talked about in the open, how does she handle that pressure of being the focal point of the defense? Now you really are, because Nego's not able to go. It's just looking at Shaffmaster.
And she is getting it done, not just in the kill category, but how about an ace as well? You see North Carolina, they lead the ACC, just under 2 serving aces per set this season. Good response, Carrie Keefe, another freshman on this Duke team that has really stepped up. Duke and Coach Jolene Nagel, they have been dealing with injury after injury after injury all season long. And she said, we needed our underclassmen to step up. Carrie Keefe has been one of them.
You don't always want to have it go that way where they're thrown into the fire because of injury, right? You want them to be able to learn on the sideline, get playing time, and kind of acclimate themselves. But it'll pay off for those freshmen down the road in their career, getting the experience that they are as freshmen. By the time they become seniors, like some of the girls that are out there, they're going to have 4 years of experience. It's going to be a dangerous Duke court.
Carrie Keefe, Lizzie, I should say Nikki Underwood, the libero. Coach Jolene Nagel praised her when we got a chance to talk with her earlier this week and what she has been able to do and step into that libero position in 2022.
You know, I think part of that is giving credit to the seniors. Talked just a few moments ago about not just the stats, but the off-the-court stuff that makes seniors so important. Freshmen can only be as successful as they can be with the senior leadership that brings them there.
They'll try the right side, the across-court kill. Riley Cadle, another underclassman.
Nice slide ran right there. I like that Duke has gone away from Johnson a little bit here in the early. You saw Carolina's defense keying in on her. So for Duke, they said, all right, let's go ahead and start sprinkling some other players in. Carolina's going to have to respect them, and that'll open the door for Johnson.
On North Carolina's side, Parker Austin.
It's a big bonus to have a player like Parker Austin who can come off the bench and fill in for a Nego when she's hurt. You've got a player who, when she was young, got some playing time and really gained some experience. Now it's going to pay off.
Her 53rd kill of the season. Carolina leading at 9-6. Great dig by Maddy May. And the send over by Merkler. Here's Johnson off the block attempt for another kill.
Talked about positioning earlier for Richardson. Great job of positioning herself there by May to come up with the initial dig. Once you get into scramble mode, it's just about who can make the play. And a nice job of tooling that off the blockers by Johnson.
Maddy May, another freshman from Winterville, North Carolina. Averages 3 digs per set.
Back set kill, point.
Merkler is so dangerous when they're able to get her running behind the setter on that slide, get some separation and some space for her.
So Parker Austin getting the start for the Tar Heels with Charlie Nego out with that illness. Johnson, another one.
Again, 2 blockers in front of her, but the senior, a veteran, recognizing that, not going right into it, tooling off the side. This one off the right hand of Merkler in the middle. Excuse me, the left hand.
10-8 here in set number 1. Chang to serve. Here's Merkler down the line.
Especially when they have Shaffmaster front row, top of the screen on that pin, it is so easy to send Merkler, and now the defense has to make a decision. Do we stay home for Mabrey, or do we follow Merkler? And if you guess wrong, it's an easy kill.
And that's something that Coach Segula mentioned to us during or before a broadcast earlier this month about we're really focusing on trying to find someone else. Obviously, Mabrey Shaffmaster, everyone knows we're going to go to her. So, like you said, the 1B, Charlie Nigo, but she's out today. So you've seen girls like Kaya Merkler, Liv Mogridge step up in certain situations for North Carolina, and it's good to see that early on in set one here.
And for Carolina, a little bit of what we talked about with Duke, where they've got some young players that they're trying in those positions. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be able to be ready now versus next year when you've learned for a season? They're finding that out throughout the season. I think there's a similarity from both programs in where they're at right now.
One of those young players, freshman Anita Babbitt with the serve. Keefe, oh, what a save. Maddy May in the backcourt, but the attack goes long and point Duke.
Man, what a reaction, right? To have the athletic ability, one, to get to that, but the reaction time on that tip to keep it alive.
She's only 5'10". She got at least a foot or two in the air to save that ball. And she watches that one fly past her for the service error. 13-10, North Carolina here in set one.
Carolina service. Mabrey Shaffmaster, 13-10.
Carolina ran out to that early lead 3-0, and it's kind of gone back and forth since then. Neither team really being able to sustain a run.
Shaffmaster with the topper and another ace.
She had 3 aces in the win over in Durham earlier this season. And I remember when she got on campus last year, Joe Segula told me she is somebody who, if we can get some more consistency out of that jump serve, is going to be so dangerous with it.
Her second ace of this first set. Back row attack, Johnson, and off the block attempt. Duke keeps it alive. Another joust at the net. Here's Howard, and she is blocked.
And it somehow stayed in bounds. Really good job by Duke of sticking with it because they were out of system right away. Carolina with 3 blockers on that first touch from the Blue Devils.
Richardson and Cadle teaming up for the block. Here's Sydney Yap subbing in to serve. And she puts it into the net to make it 15-11. Good back and forth start here in Chapel Hill. A 15-11 lead for North Carolina here in set one. Rob Connick, Kyle Straub with you here inside Carmichael Arena. Pretty good crowd with a rivalry game a day before Thanksgiving.
A lot of people have off. Nice day. Get out with the family, go see some volleyball, walk around campus, eat some lunch.
Richardson is stuffed.
Carolina has only 1 block so far, but you get Richardson in there, changes things with the dynamics for them defensive at the net. And the solo block there, second for Carolina of the match.
Sky Howard using that 6'3" frame to put up the wall. The largest lead of the day for UNC.
And we talked with Coach Segula about not just Sky Howard, but the rotations. And he said, you know, she's on the front row, so athletic, but not somebody that we want on the back row because of the defense. And recently, they were able to get a veteran back in Karina Whirl. And he talked about how good she is on that back row. And between the two of them, you've got one player from those 6 positions. Just got to mash the 2 of them together to do it.
It didn't take very long for Coach Segula. Once Karina Whirl was injured early on in this season, once she came back from injury, they would play her off the bench for a couple of matches, and they're like, all right, you're going in. We need you on the defensive side.
What was it he said to us? It wasn't a matter of how long is she out. It's how quick can we get her back, because we needed a veteran like her.
The senior from San Diego will serve. Up 5. Chang sets it up off the block attempt. Here's Johnson. Merkler pokes it up into the air. Johnson again. And a net violation going to be called against the Tar Heels.
I think they may have gotten Babbitt there because that one hit Whirl right in the chest. She went straight up and down. Excuse me, Merkler.
Serving 17.
Babbitt back to Shaffmaster, bringing the power again. My goodness.
It's like the give and go in basketball. They serve it right to her. She makes a fantastic pass. So the setter is going to give it right back to her for a backline swing.
And just the pose, you saw it right there on the replay, just her mid-air. I mean, if you're Duke on the defensive side, look out. Here's Johnson. She's bringing the power for the swing and the kill.
Johnson just earned that one by herself. It was a really good serve from Carolina. Got Duke out of system, and that doesn't always mean that you're scrambling, but it can cut the court in half. Makes it easier for the defense to get set up, and they had two blockers there, but the veteran, just Wiley, found a way to get the point.
Johnson up to 6 kills, leading the way for Duke here in the first set, as they trail 18-14.
Need to find a way to go on a run here. You don't want to get into the 20s before you try and chip away.
Trying to get creative. Chang with a rainbow serve. And getting creative, going light with the attack. It's Kaya Merkler with the K.
That's just a tough spot there. If you're Nikki Underwood, you're playing back and you read that correctly with the slide, you're getting a big swing coming at you, but the set is a little bit off. And by the time you're able to make the adjustment, that ball is falling in front of you.
And an ace to follow it up. How about this serving game for North Carolina?
I mean, that's the difference in this first set, right? We can look at a lot of different statistical things, but 4 aces for the Tar Heels, 0 for Duke, 3 errors, though, for the Blue Devils. That's a 7-point swing.
20-14, and Coach Jolene Nagel is going to take a timeout here in set 1. So again, we've mentioned how big this rivalry is. It's no secret to anyone, and you look at the series history between these two teams meeting up for the 125th time here on the hardwood.
So you're saying they've done this once or twice before?
A little bit, yeah.
You know, it's funny when you look at the overall 67-57, 125 meetings, they're separated by just 10 wins one way or another. You have those ebbs and flows where one team will get the better of another for a few years. But the nice thing about it, for a rivalry especially, is it just takes that one win, and now all of a sudden you're the one who's getting the better of your rival instead of the other way around.
That's what Duke was trying to do in 2020 when they got that win, and North Carolina said, yeah, no more of that. They have won 8 of the last 9 meetings. But again, this pre-Thanksgiving, late season matchup between these two schools, especially since they met in October back in Durham, 4-set win for North Carolina. But you obviously have this one circled, and it means a lot. We got a chance to talk with Jolene Nagel about what this rivalry means to her, and for her it's personal because back in the 80s, she was actually on the coaching staff for North Carolina's volleyball team.
It's kind of weird when you come across somebody who's made that crossover from Carolina to Duke or vice versa. It doesn't happen very often, but she's one that's had experience on both sides, so understands where each team is coming from.
Let's see what Duke can do coming out of the timeout, trailing by 6. Here's Keefe with the left-handed swing. Now they'll try the right side. And a great save by Whirl. We were talking about how great she is on defense.
Scramble mode. This just comes down to which team wants it more, which team has practiced this.
Shaffmaster will end it. Coach Nagel's asking for a lift call. Nothing there, and Shaffmaster with her 5th kill of the match.
I think what Coach Nagel saw is, you alluded to it a little earlier, Shaffmaster is so athletic, she gets so much height on her jump that she is above the ball, so she can, what looks like palm it, but it's coming straight down on that ball there.
Almost like a slam dunk. Going
just not able to palm it, so you just got to push it the whole way down.
And now Merkler. And Carolina 3 points away from taking this opening frame. Johnson with another kill. Up to 7 now here in set 1.
A question for Duke, though, is who's going to step up the rest of this match outside of Johnson? You've got a kill from 3 different players, but that's it, just a single kill from 3 different players.
When these teams met up in October, it was Rachel Richardson chipping in 11 kills. Riley Cadle had 9 kills, but here today it's just been Gracie Johnson so far for the Blue Devils. For North Carolina, it's been Shaffmaster. Duke keeps it alive, and another diving save by May to keep that alive. Over the net, Shaffmaster will send it over. Wood with the kill. So how about Mabrey Wood? That senior leadership might be coming into play here.
And if I'm Duke, it doesn't have to come from the coaching staff. It can come from within the players challenging each other. Who's going to step up? We don't want to lose to Carolina. Who's going to be the player that steps up and helps Johnson?
50-50 ball lands for the Tar Heels. 23-16, Babbitt will go back to serve.
You got to give Carolina credit. They got out to the early lead. They never let Duke go on a run to even get within more than 2 points this set. And when we were at 18-14, Duke had the serve. Carolina said, we're going to close this out, and they've been the one who's gone on a run.
And most of the great points, the great runs for North Carolina has been the defense in the back row. They're not stopping that one, though, as Keith gets the kill from the right side.
That's a good point. Out digging Duke by 3 so far in the match, 15-13.
Billy Neer. Correction, Nikki Underwood.
Sky Howard pokes it over the net. Here's Wood once again, off the fingertips of May. She couldn't get out of the way fast enough. And so Mabrey Wood stepping up these last few points for Duke.
And that's a veteran move right there. Find the target and hit it right at the target. You get enough on it, you're not going to be able to get out of the way. Even though the blockers are there, kind of acted like a shield on May.
23-18, here's Shaffmaster. My goodness!
There was nobody even close for Duke defensively there, and I don't know if it's because they were out of position or everybody just parted ways and got out of the way of that one.
It was like a 40-degree angle kill going left to right. Now Shaffmaster with a chance to end set 1. Or how about Parker Austin?
Austin will get the kill, but the serve from Shaffmaster is the reason you get set point, and really the aces from her in this set and Carolina as a whole, the reason they've got a 1-0 lead. Shaffmaster had 18 kills in Carolina's 3-1 win over Duke over in Durham earlier this season. She's got a third of that already after the first set victory. 6 of Carolina's kills, also a couple of aces for Carolina, and really that's where this one has come down to. The difference in the first set to me was Carolina dominated, not just with the aces, but also getting Duke out of system. The Blue Devils going to have to find a way to handle the serve a little bit better, but also attack Carolina and get them out of serve, not allow them to run those easy set pieces for both Shaffmaster and Merkley. And
that is exactly what Coach Jolene Nagel told us going into this match was we're going to have to serve really well, we're going to have to pass really well, and the serve-receive game is going to be the difference as it was when they played each other last month. And so Duke, like you mentioned, Kyle, you look at the hit percentage, Carolina at 294, Duke at 237, pretty close in that category, but really, again, 4 serving aces for North Carolina in that first set. 234, not a bad hitting percentage overall for that set. I mean, you actually look at Duke on the season, 195 hitting percentage, so you're above your season average, but you still lost that first set by 7. You've got to clean up the serving game. That was the only difference. Play at the net was equal with 3 blocks apiece. The rest of it, as far as digs, side outs, pretty close. You have to figure out the serve-receive game. 2 teams will switch sides as we get ready for set number 2. Devin Chang will serve on this Wednesday afternoon in Chapel Hill. We thank you for joining us and wish you and yours a happy Thanksgiving. As we get started with the continuation, and Shaffmaster will get it over for Carolina. Here's Johnson, another great dig for Carolina's defense. It leads to the point. That one was Olivia Diaz.
I'm going to alter my statement when we came back of the only difference was serve receive. Carolina has come up with more of those kinds of digs. Not you're in a good position, you should make it, but you made a wow moment dig. I've seen at least 3 or 4 of them now in the match.
And it's been multiple players as well. That's the other difference for Carolina, as Diaz gets that back in play and Carolina gets it over. Keith with the kill.
Good job by Carolina. Nice hustle there from Diaz to get it over in 3. But if you're Duke, you got to do exactly what you did and take advantage of Carolina being in scramble mode, out of system, and get a point quick.
Gary Keefe, the freshman from California. And an ace as it went right in between Maddy May and Corinna Whirl. A rare mistake there, a little miscommunication for Carolina's defense.
I think Whirl actually read that as long, but a lot of topspin on the ball, had it drop late. Another good serve here. Good sign for Duke.
And the kill for Lizzie Fleming. So Duke comes out on fire in response to start set number 2 with their largest lead of the day.
You see how much easier it is to get a kill when you have a good serve and they can't set up a wall at the net. And I'm okay with that. You're going to have a service error occasionally if you're serving aggressive, just as long as the aces outweigh the errors by the end of the game.
2 serving 3.
Chang sets it up. Another great dig by May. Whistles blow, though. And they'll call a lift against UNC.
Carolina, Blue Devils. Service to Nikki Underwood. 4 serving 2.
And again, that goes back to a great serve. And already early on here in set 2, the serving game has cranked it up a notch for Duke.
Timing off on that set a little bit too high for Sky, and that doesn't happen very often with her ability to jump.
Blue Devils, 5 serving 2.
A little bit early on the set as well.
Babbitt for Shaffmaster. Here's Wood. Off the block attempt for the kill. So we saw Maria Wood about midway through that first set start to pick it up. And as we were asking, who's going to step up besides Gracie Johnson for Duke? And now Maria Wood has kind of answered that.
Wood, and I would say just in general, the team has stepped up for Duke. When we questioned who was going to be their second option, they only had 3 points that didn't come from Gracie Johnson. Yeah. Since then, it's been very different. A nice even attack from the Blue Devils.
Gary Keefe has also stepped it up. She gets the kill on that one. And Coach Segula takes an early timeout. 7-2 Duke here in set 2. Coach Segula having to take an early timeout here in set 2 as his Tar Heels trail the Blue Devils 7-2 after they took the opening game 25-18. And that's how you come out of a timeout. Liv Mobridge.
Carolina service to Mabrey Shaffmaster.
Very deep bench for North Carolina, as we talked about in the first. They've got a lot of young players figuring out who fits in where. And when you're looking for an answer, you can go to the bench, and that's a nice thing to be able to have.
Mobridge did have 9 kills and hit nearly 500 when these two teams met up last month. That was her first kill of the day here, as a 4-hit violation against the Blue Devils and 2 straight points for the Heels coming out of that timeout.
It's 6'4" for Mobridge. Going to have a size advantage over most players that she's going to go against in most teams.
Shaffmaster with the rocket. Wood. Austin tapping it over.
Each team just a little bit off with their sets. Not on that one, though.
Keefe finding the middle of the hardwood for the kill.
Really nice job by Wood on the reception from the serve from Shaffmaster. Put Duke in a good spot. Both teams just a little bit off the mark on the assist. Overpass.
They'll joust at the net. Carolina out of position, and Riley Cadle with the boom.
Must be something about the sides of the court as far as what team's able to serve and receive and the other one not, because this is a complete reversal of the first set.
Something special about that left side, apparently.
It's the sight lines.
9-4, Duke leads it. Austin with the send over. Here's Sky Howard. Wood rejected. Howard and Mobridge, they tall trees for Carolina going up.
When both of them can get set up in front of an outside hitter, good luck. Howard ends up with the solo, but part of that is because the middle is there. What are you doing as a hitter? You got to pick somewhere to go with it. Usually you're going to go with what you're best at straight away.
Riley Cadle with the across-court kill.
Nice slide ran by Duke right there. Carolina with just 2 kills so far in this set.
They trail by 5. Wood with the serve, and she sent it long. So you saw the little graphic pop up. North Carolina with 4 blocks, Duke with 3. When they met up in Durham earlier this season, both teams had a great performance at the net. Defensively, Duke had 10 blocks. North Carolina had 8. It's part of their game.
And I'm a little bit surprised Duke has not added to their 3-block total, because at the first time out in the first set, they had a 3-1 advantage in that category. It's been all Carolina again, though, winning the net game.
How about Anita Babbitt just out-muscling her counterpart for the kill?
It's really special when you can have a setter stay in as a 6-rotation player and actually be a force at the net in the blocking game.
Coach Segula has been so impressed with the freshmen being able to fill that setter role, but not just setting, what else she can do.
Court awareness, just understanding where you are, where the defense is, and when it's the appropriate time to throw that little quick over. Back-to-back good serves for Carolina.
Johnson with a swing. They'll try the right side, and the kill for Riley Cadle.
Backset kill, Riley Cadle.
Slide has really been working well in this second set for Duke. Got to trust your setter to throw that back set. When you've got one of the best in the country, one of the best in the ACC, not a problem.
Coming in, Cadle averaging about 2 kills per set and hitting .260. Johnson, smart play, tapping it over the block attempt. And Duke in front 12-8.
Nice answer from Duke after Carolina had a little bit of a run, started to get the crowd here in Carmichael behind them.
That pinball's off a couple of heels for another ace for Duke. Again, there's something about that left side. North Carolina had all the aces in the first set. Here are the Blue Devils in set 2, now up by 5. Parker Austin runs into a wall. Fleming and Chang.
Devin Chang with Fleming. 14 serving 8.
This one was just telegraphed. A little bit too quick, too much airtime on the set.
4-0 run, Duke in front by 6.
Much better there.
And it's Merkler stopping the bleeding. And she gets the kill down the line.
Carolina service to
She's somehow quietly always among the leaders for Carolina offensively. You don't feel like you've seen her do a whole lot. Then you look at the stat sheet, 8 swings, 5 kills, no errors.
They call her the mayor. She is from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Has been one of the true leaders for Carolina. Leader for Duke is Gracie Johnson.
big swing, Gracie Johnson. Duke 15 serving.
Now with 10 kills, hitting 400.
Duke is at their best is when she's not the focal point but can sprinkle in like she has here in this second set. Not that she can't handle the workload, it just opens things up.
Wow. The pancake from Chang leads to the kill for Johnson. Great defense leading to great offense for the Blue Devils.
The timing on everything for Duke has been right where they need it. Great swing from the senior, just inside of the arm of the blocker, far enough away from the libero they can't get to it.
They're hitting 381 as a team here in set 2, again led by Gracie Johnson. 11 kills now, hitting 429.
She led Duke with 16 in that 4-set loss in Durham to the Tar Heels earlier this year. Already with 11, though, this afternoon. Talked about it as a senior. This is the last chance to play against your rival. 429 hitting percentage for her so far. She's also chipped in a couple of digs as well.
We knew coming in, she is one of the best, not just for Duke, but in the ACC. You see the rankings there, kills, points, aces. She also averages about 2 digs per set as well.
If you get experience as a true freshman like she did, this is what happens when you become a senior. 200 plus kills as a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, now has to be the focal point, and she's approaching 450 kills this year.
Very impressive student athlete for Duke. Coach Jolene Nagel impressed with what not just Johnson has done, but her entire squad here in set 2 as they lead 16-9, trying to tie this match up. We mentioned earlier how this rivalry means something special to Coach Nagel because she's been on the other side of it, being on the coaching staff for North Carolina back in the 80s, but she's wrapping up her 24th season at the helm for the Duke volleyball program.
These are two coaches that have been at the head of their programs, respectively, for longer than anybody on either of their teams. Pretty impressive.
See Coach Segula as well, one of the winningest active coaches in all of D1. And that's what also makes this rivalry so good, is not just the players, but when you have 2 legendary coaches like Segula going up against Nagel, you know there's going to be a great match almost every single time.
You know you've got 2 programs that are in good hands, but you also know that you have 2 coaches that completely understand what this rivalry is about. And sometimes for a first, second-year head coach, you get so caught up in you're the head coach and all of the new things that come along with it. You don't quite take into the appreciation just how big this rivalry is.
Carolina trying to get something going as they trail by 7. Not on that point. It's another kill for the freshman, Carrie Keefe.
Point Blue Devils. Service to Gracie Johnson. 18 serving 10.
Keefe now with 6 kills, an 8-point lead for the Blue Devils here in set 2. Mabrey. That's the response. We saw it coming out of the timeout earlier in this set. Maybe that's the spark that North Carolina needs right now.
But if they're going to make a move in this second set, it has to be now. They've got themselves into a pretty deep hole.
Her teammates not helping her out there as the service error. Again, we were talking about how great the serving game was for North Carolina in set 1, but now not as much here in set 2. That is their first error, but just in general, Duke has done a better job receiving those serves here in set 2.
Just the first error, but haven't gotten Duke out of system very much and haven't had a single ace this set. I feel like the way these first 2 sets have gone are a microcosm for both of these programs' seasons. You've seen how good each team can be, but you've also seen some of the struggles that each team has had this year.
Shaffmaster going across court for the kill. Her 7th here this afternoon. I don't know how she did that.
She's a righty. You're
right.
looking for her to swing with her right hand, and she sees the blockers and says, well, let me just use the offhand, no big deal.
Somehow it worked. And now the big block for Carolina. Howard and Mobridge, and you're starting to feel a little bit of that momentum shift. Carolina's still down by 6, but this is the spark that they need.
And Howard just completely roofed her here. Didn't even give this ball a chance to get over the net.
You see the mean mug there afterwards. Meaning business on that block. How about Riley Cadle finding the donut?
And that was so big for Duke right there. It's a 7-point lead, but with Shaffmaster one on the service line, she really was the key for Carolina in the serving ability in the first set that got them out to that lead. She had 2 of their 4 aces. To have just a one and done with her on the service line as Carolina felt like they were trying to creep back in, that's enormous.
That's a really good point. Mobridge,
She's going to get some more playing time in the 3rd, 4th set.
That's for sure. And again, it all goes back to the great pass, the great set, quick, fast swing from Mobridge. What can Carolina do with that, though? Still down by 6. How about Merkler finding Main Street?
Merkler kill, point. 15 serving 20.
First time I've seen in this set where that slide didn't work for Duke. We gave Carolina a chance.
Maddy May with another assist. And Johnson sent it deep. Tar Heels back within 4, and Coach Nagel can sense that momentum shift. She'll call a timeout.
Yeah, you could kind of feel like Duke on the floor was looking around at, all right, who's going to be the one to get us this point? Who's going to stop this run from the other side? And when the only answer is Johnson and she's on the back line, that's where you got to call a timeout as a veteran head coach, draw something up to get the point out of the timeout.
20-16. And we mentioned earlier Joe Segula, 3rd on the all-time active coaches winning list with 863 victories in his career with UNC.
He's racked up 1 or 2. Went into the Volleyball Hall of Fame a couple of years ago.
What does that say about the ACC when you also see Chris Poole and Florida State?
Oh,
Another great program, 2 of the 5 from
I think it speaks to how good the ACC is. I mean, Jolie Nagel on the other side, you said 24 years that she's been with Duke. You've got a lot of top-notch coaches in the country that are in the ACC, and they've been there for a long time.
You see Coach Segula relaying his message to his Tar Heels, trying to keep this scoring run going as they trail 20-16.
Offense, which was pretty much non-existent for the first 3 quarters of this second set, has really come to life last couple of points, and it's got Duke reeling right now. They need to rely back on what got them to this point, which was that service game, receiving Carolina's serve, staying in system, and then making it hard on the Tar Heel offense.
Carolina still looking for that first ace of the second set. They had 4 of them in set 1. And a kill for Riley Cadle, the sophomore from Parker, Colorado.
Went back to the well, ran that slide. Carolina, I thought, had been set up really well defensively, but sometimes when that ball deflects off the blocker, it's just nothing you can do on the back end for the libero.
And how about an ace?
22-16.
Austin just got stuck in the mud there. Never able to move her feet. That ball knuckled and dropped. Big answer from the Blue Devils.
Duke trying to tie up this match. What a save in the backcourt there by Wood. Sky Howard. Now Parker Austin with the kill.
Kill to Parker Austin.
Again, Austin getting the start here today for North Carolina as Charlie Nigo out with illness. And she has stepped into that starting role and has been pretty good in certain situations to keep North Carolina in it.
Coach can feel a little bit better when you've got a player coming off the bench to fill in for a starter when that player used to be a starter themselves. Ooh, miscommunication or no communication from Duke right there.
That was Sydney Tomlak and Sydney Yap.
18 serving,
The two Sydneys for Duke.
Bit of an odd way to get an ace, but not a bad serve to start with, though.
And an ace once again for Carolina. They're back within 3. Coach Nagel will make a substitution. Here's Rachel Richardson. First time we've seen her. You see the bandage around the left leg, the left hip area. Here's Austin. Great save by Underwood. They'll go for Richardson. Whistles blow, and Carolina's in the net.
Had a little bit of an overpass after Richardson sent it over.
Side out to Duke, 23 serving 19.
Because of the overpass, Carolina got into the net trying to battle for that ball. That was a point I feel like Carolina had to have if they were to come back in this set, and now really going to be tough.
Another ace for the Blue Devils. And it's set point for Duke here in set number 2. 4th ace for the Blue Devils here today. They'll try Merkler, and she sent it deep. Point Blue Devils, and Duke has tied up this match as they take game 2, 25-19.
Whichever team wins the serve-receive game is the one who has won each set. I don't expect that to change as we move forward.
Set 3 coming up. Don't go anywhere. The rivalry is on here in Chapel Hill. As North Carolina takes set 1, Duke responds and takes set 2. We are tied, getting ready for game number 3 on this day before Thanksgiving. Rob Connick, Kyle Stroud back with you here. And Kyle, man, it has been the serving game for both teams that have made a difference here in the first 2 games.
It's what's dictated who won and really who controlled the first 2 sets. Carolina dominated the serve and receive game in the first set. They ran out to an early and easy win. It was the opposite on set 2, so we'll see if it's the court or if it's the teams that are depending on who's going to win that serve-receive game.
Early on for North Carolina, we were not surprised. Mabrey Shaffmaster really led the way for the Tar Heels.
We talked about it in the open for a reason. It was her and Gracie Johnson, and those have been the 2 go-tos for each side. And you look at the variety of swings that she's able to take. It's one of the reasons that Mabrey is one of the best outside hitters in the ACC. And by the time her career is done, she'll be one of the best in the country. She's also gotten it done on the service line. And then how about this one? Can't get it with the right hand, so I'll go to the left hand. But still got a kill for the Tar Heels. Johnson on the other side really has stepped up, and we told you that they go as she goes. 11 kills in that first set, just 4 attack errors for her. One of the best servers in the ACC, and she showed it in the second set. Really set the tone for Duke in set number 2, I thought.
And we saw in set 1, it was the Gracie Johnson show, and we were asking ourselves, all right, who else is going to step up? Someone else needs to step up for Duke, and we saw that in set number 2 with players like Riley Cadle, Carrie Keefe, Maria Wood.
Yeah, you've got 3 players right there who have combined for 15 kills for Duke, and that's huge for them. They're going to need other players to continue to sprinkle in with Johnson. But the thing that really has stood out to me is the blocks. Duke had 3 blocks at the 15-point mark in set 1. They've only gotten 1 since then. Now, that has not equated into Carolina playing better because they lost the second set only having 1 ball that was blocked. But it's just something that really surprised me, especially after the first game over at Durham, in which Duke had double-digit reaches.
When they played each other back in October. It was a 4-set victory for North Carolina. So obviously this is a good one with the rivalry. Check out what else is going on here this afternoon, the day before Thanksgiving. Other volleyball matches around the ACC, and that one coming up at 5 o'clock. Wow, that's going to be fun between Georgia Tech and Pitt.
Top 15 matchup, two really good volleyball teams. That'll be a good measuring stick for both of them as they get ready for postseason play. I'm keeping my eye on Florida State and Miami, though. Miami trying to get themselves into the NCAA tournament. That is a key rivalry matchup for them, in-state matchup, but also for that resume for the Hurricanes.
Here inside Carmichael Arena, we get ready for game number 3, match tied at 1. As Carolina took the first one 25-18, Duke responds and wins set 2 25-19. And we mentioned what a great crowd we have had here inside Carmichael on this Wednesday afternoon. A lot of students on Thanksgiving break, a lot of residents in the Triangle with the day off.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some folks that are in town visiting.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we got an opportunity to go over to Chapel Hill, watch a volleyball game between Carolina and Duke.
1-0.
We knew it was going to be a good one, and I know it's a cliche, but it finds itself true almost every instance. No matter what sport, what rivalry, when you get two rival teams meeting up, you can throw out the records, you know it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, I think this matchup kind of speaks to that exactly. Neither of these teams going to have anything past the regular season. They're not going to get into the NCAA tournament. But you look at the effort that's being put out there, 2 games left on the season, but you got Carolina on one side and Duke on the other. This is the season for both of these teams.
And you made a good point about the seniors for both of these teams as well. Like, hey, this is your final chance against your rival. Of course, you want to get a victory against those other guys. Whoa! Riley Cadle.
Check out the perfect set here from Chang. Allowed Cadle to come in. We saw Duke run the slide with her going towards a pin. They change it up a little bit here in the third and have her running in towards the middle.
Olivia Diaz could not do anything as that was heading right towards her. Tied at 2 here in set 3. Shaffmaster finding the back corner for the kill.
It's got to be frustrating if you're Duke. You read that ball off the hand, and rightfully so, as out. It's going to be long. But even on her swings from the outside, she's able to get so much speed, so much top swing, that ball just dropped into the corner.
It's like a knuckleball serve in baseball. It just somehow, some way in the middle of that just dies right midair. You see it with her serves, you see it with her swings or attacks. Nice. Wood will have a seat. Rachel Richardson checks in. She'll go back to serve for the Blue Devils. Diaz dug it up. Shaffmaster with the attack. Right back to her. And went too light with it and put it into the net.
Had the blockers there, and I think if she went up with another full swing cutting across court, she probably gets the kill. But because of those blockers, tried to finesse it and just didn't get it over.
Shaffmaster into the net, just trying to keep that alive.
That was interesting there because Shaffmaster got out of that ball like she read it as out of bounds. But you saw a player on the backside reach out, get a piece of it. I think it was Diaz, kept it alive. Just a miscommunication there, I think, between those two.
And right down the middle, Liv Mobridge cranking it for another kill.
Carolina service to Mabrey Shaffmaster.
Another top spin serve from Shaffmaster. Howard pushes it. And Cadle put it into the net. We are tied at 5.
She had a really long way to run from near side all the way to the top of the screen to get to that, and she was a little bit behind. That's why it was into the net.
Cadle trying to redeem herself as she gets the attack. Mogridge tooling the blocker.
Tried to go right back to Cadle. That time it was Chang, the setter, who was off on the set, which then gave Carolina the chance. And Mogridge has been so good in the middle. Between her and Merkler, Duke really doesn't have an answer there.
Yeah. And again, that's exactly what Coach Segula said he needed about midway through this season. We have Shaffmaster, we have Nego. We need another person to step up, and it's been Merkler and Mogridge. How about another kill for Mogridge? She's feeling it here in set 3.
And it's Mabrey Shaffmaster that's at the line right now, serving for the Tar Heels. She keyed them in the first set with tough serving, and here she is in the third, trying to get them back out in front and getting them in front for the set, or for the match.
And service error from Shaffmaster. You see the look on her face. Ugh, my bad. Austin keeps it alive. They'll go back to Parker Austin, and she finds the back line for the kill.
Good job initially by Fleming. Got the solo block there on Mogridge. Too many options, though, for Carolina.
Maddy May.
A little bit surprised that she took Fleming. That is, took so long to slide over. Mogridge had her back to the net. You can guess there that she's not going to get that set, close off the pin.
Duke will try Johnson. Dug up on the 10-foot line. Austin with the send-over. Parker Austin making a difference here in game 3.
Let's take another look at this pancake. Great job diving in to keep it alive. I think Duke might challenge this one, though. I saw their players immediately start talking to the sideline.
And Coach Nagel's going to reach for the challenge card. And they will indeed have the officials take a look to see if that indeed was saved off the floor.
You know, the tough thing about this, if you're Duke, it's a huge point right now in this set and in this match, right? A swing point right now. But the call on the court was that it was a pancake. It was clean.
Right.
It's going to be really hard to see indisputable evidence to overturn it and say, no, that ball hit the floor.
Obviously, Coach Nagel trying to stop the momentum that Carolina is riding right now, but they can also use this as kind of an extended timeout as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're smart about it, go ahead and use it as a timeout. Chat with your team, let them get a little bit of a breather, get them regrouped and refocused. To me, that looks like she gets the hands there in time, and that's what ultimately the umpires here, the referees, are going to be looking for is, was she there in time? Because to be able to see that minute, did the ball touch the ground or the hand, I just don't think that's going to be possible for them.
It's possible that she had her two hands, but there was a little bit of gap in between those two hands, and the ball might have hit the floor. But like you said, from that angle, man, that is going to be tough.
Yeah, and they have different angles than we do, but I mean, unless you have an angle that is right on the floor that can zoom into, like you said, the spot between the two hands, are you able to see the ball touch there? And it's the only way that this gets overturned.
You see the look on Anita Babick. I'm pretty sure I saved that. Oh, yeah, sure.
Even if you didn't, you got to sell it the whole way.
Right.
Until that call is official, you got to keep selling it.
Got to have a good poker face sometimes. Here is the call.
Your attention, after further review, that call has been reversed.
Oh, they have reversed it.
Good challenge by Duke.
And again, you said Duke players there on the floor immediately were like, that was down.
Yeah, immediately turned to Jolene Nagel and the rest of the staff and told them that ball down, go ahead and challenge it.
So a successful challenge for the Blue Devils. That'll make it 8-7 here in set 3. And again, that could be a complete momentum shifter because Carolina was on a good run here in game 3. Let's see how it plays out. Sky Howard.
I think that was touched. That's why they're giving the point to Carolina. Wasn't a lot of velocity that came off of that ball, but I do think it was deflected.
And you saw her going to the bench. And that is one thing I love about Sky Howard, about no matter what she does, she is serious business almost every time. Doesn't show a lot of emotion, whether it's a good kill or a block.
You've got to have those people that understand what the job is, what the task is, and just go get it done. She is absolutely one of those people on this Carolina team.
Again, she missed some time earlier this season with an injury, so Coach Segula loves having her back in the rotation for Carolina. Keefe off of May. Here's Merkler. And Duke will not be able to get it back over.
Chang should have just touched that over. She just kept it alive at the net, made it tough for the third person to come in and get it over. When you're in a scramble like that, you have the opportunity, just bump it over.
10-8, Carolina leading here in game 3. Match tied at 1. Keefe is stuffed. Merkler and Shaffmaster with the block.
Too much airtime on that back set allowed both those blockers to get over for Carolina, dominating the play at the net now.
Wood hit the pin.
We haven't seen this from either team so far, but this set, Duke really shooting themselves in the foot. A lot of errors, even not just attack errors, just some mental mistakes in the passing game as well.
Coach Nagel taking a timeout. We'll be back in a moment. A lot to dance about here in Chapel Hill.
Just working off all those carbs he's about to eat tomorrow.
Get the turkey, mashed potatoes.
Don't forget the stuffing.
Stuffing. Mac and cheese.
I'll tell you, my favorite is the leftovers, though.
Oh, yeah.
I may date myself with this one, but the turkey sandwich with the moist maker in the middle. You know what a moist maker is, you know. If you don't, you need to go watch Friends.
Moist maker. You might have to remind me about that one.
Oh, no, so you take your turkey sandwich, and the bread in the middle has to be soaked in gravy.
That's
a moist
delicious.
maker.
That sounds amazing.
Give it a try this year, let me know.
So I've been told, because I'm new to the area, and when I had a conversation with a couple of coworkers earlier this month, and I mentioned green bean casserole, they looked at me like I was from a different planet. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Indiana. Mabrey Shaffmaster will back me up on this. But I did not know that green bean casserole was not a Thanksgiving staple. I'm so used to it.
I'm from New York originally, so can't speak to the Southern traditions, but in my decade plus here, big on the sweet potatoes down here.
Now I can't stop thinking about gravy and rolls and mashed potatoes and turkey. Gotta get back into the mindset of volleyball. 13-10, Tar Heels leading it. Here in set number 3, Camille Nazer has checked in. She'll serve. Free ball, and putting it into the net was Riley Cadle. Missed opportunity there.
You bring in Nazor to serve, and she gives you a perfect serve. Should be a point, but sometimes when you're at that net, the ball can get on you so quickly, you go up to jump and it's behind you. And that's exactly what happened right there for Cadle.
Trying to redeem herself, and again into the net. Back-to-back errors
the timing on that slide has been off in this set, and it's weird because it was so perfect in the second set for them, but see, she's a little bit behind. That's the second time we've seen it. I don't know if it's tired legs or if the serve's going up too quick.
Carolina now up by 5, and how about the sneak attack? Devin Cheng, the setter, with the kill. Got to get creative somehow, and the graduate transfer from UCLA getting the point for the Blue Devils. (15-11). Richardson serving. Just got it over the tape. They'll try Sky Howard. Off of Nazer with the blast.
Carolina getting back to what they did in the first set and being on point in the offense. Been able to spread the ball around a lot too. Shaffmaster with 6 kills in that first set. Since then, she's only had 3, but Merkler, Mobridge, Austin, Howard, they've really gotten involved, and Shaffmaster, has impacted the game in a different way, and it's been on that service line.
Her 3rd service ace. So she's getting it done in multiple categories, as she has done all season long. Very impressed with the sophomore from Newcastle, Indiana. And again, she has just been on it here this afternoon.
9 kills, 2 assists, 3 digs, a block, those 3 aces from the service line as well. Talked about it in the open. She's the do-it-all for Carolina. She just stuffs the stats in every single category. And it's because she is good at passing, at defense, and she is just out of this world athletic, as you can see with a play like that one.
And this rivalry is a little personal for her, because originally Shaffmaster wanted to play for Coach Jolene Nagel and the Duke Blue Devils. Went on a visit, did not get an offer, and so she's looked at the rival, looked at, all right, how about North Carolina? Coach Segula offers her, and she had to go back to Duke and to Coach Nagel and say, hey, sorry, I'm going Tar Heel Blue now.
How different could this match look, could this season look, if she ended up in a Duke uniform? I mean, imagine her next to Gracie Johnson.
Oh,
that's a dynamic duo right there. But it's not how it works out. For whatever reason, Duke doesn't offer on the spot. And it just kind of goes to show you how tough recruiting is, how small the margin is for a player coming to your school versus choosing to go elsewhere. And Joe Segula and the Tar Heels, the beneficiaries of not getting an offer from Duke.
Yeah.
They've got one of the best in the country now.
Crowd getting into it as the home team leads by 6, trying to take a 2-1 advantage here in the match. Johnson. Oh man, right down Broadway. Liv Mobridge with another kill.
Richardson did about the only thing she could on that back line and tried to sell it as long to the referee. Get out of the way.
Mobridge up to 7 kills now. Cadle with the swing. Here's Parker Austin. To Johnson, finding the hardwood.
I had just thought to myself, after Duke tried to run the slide top of the screen earlier in that point, and Carolina was ready for it, I thought they got to find a way to get Johnson back involved. They've gone away from her a good amount, gotten other players involved, but you need your go-to to step up here in this set now.
Austin is stuffed.
Clip the tape on the way out, too, for a Blue Devil point.
And you see Lizzie Fleming there saying, all right, let's go. Let's get the momentum back on our side.
That's their first block this set. I mean, they really, in the last 2 sets, have been almost non-existent in the blocking category.
Austin sent it wide. And here come the Blue Devils.
3 straight now. Every set has kind of gone the same, with Carolina starting to run away towards the end of the first set, Duke making a run, but then ultimately Carolina winning it. It was the opposite for Duke in set 2, and now here we are in the third looking at the same story. Gracie
Johnson somehow got it. And that run by Duke continues.
Have we said there's a little bit extra in a rivalry matchup?
You can feel it here in set 3. Duke battling back to make it 18-15. So Coach Segula takes the timeout. What's his message to the players here?
I think you just need to compose yourself. If you're Carolina right now, you've allowed the momentum to get to the Duke side. Slow yourselves down, get back to being in system, passing well, and getting those easy points.
Take a look at the Blue Devil huddle. Assistant coach Jeremy Garcia.
I think Duke just has played well in the beginning of this set, and now here at this point where they're on this 4-0 run, when they didn't was when they were hurting themselves. They had 6 attack errors in this set alone. They only had 10 through the first 2. So if they stay away from hurting themselves, you still have 3 points to climb out of, but you're going to give yourself a chance to win this set. And this is a crucial set. Best of 3 right now, and you're on the road. If you're Duke, you want to win this one. You don't want to have to win set 4 and 5 on the road.
And again, for Duke, this is more than likely their final match of the season. Not expecting them to make the NCAA tournament with that 16-12 overall record. North Carolina, they still have Virginia here at home to wrap up the regular season coming up on Saturday. So for Duke, this is it. And we have been talking throughout the broadcast. You want to end it on a high note for the seniors. You want to end it on a high note for everybody because this is your rival. Obviously, you want to get a big win over the Tar Heels. Yeah,
it's your rival, but it's also your last collegiate game. You're never going to get a chance to do this again if you're a senior. So what are you holding on to anything for?
Austin with the swing. Johnson with the dig. Sky Howard off of Fleming. Fleming again, and it finds the line for the kill.
Did not think that was the smartest play by Fleming to just send it back over so quickly, but it worked out for him. It all started with this, though, right here. Great positioning and great reaction from Johnson to come up with the dig. It's not just offense that she gives for Duke.
Again, giving it out all effort here in her final match. Trying to do it offensively, and the kill off of Anita Babick.
Gracie Johnson.
Johnson up to 14 kills.
17, serving 18.
Ball caught a piece of one of the blockers. That's Mabrey at the net. Got Babick on the back line off her balance.
Chang sets it up. Johnson is feeling it.
Gracie Johnson with the right hand,
7-0 run. Duke really playing the best they have played so far today, and at the time they absolutely needed it to be.
Timeout, Tar Heels. We are knotted up at 18 on this kill for Gracie Johnson.
They have gone away from her towards the end of the second set, most of this third here, but now as they need to get back into it, they start feeding her the ball. 4 kills in this set to get her up to 15, which is just one off of how many she had in that 4-set match against Carolina earlier this year.
And she has been so impressive. We showed you the stats and where she ranks in the ACC in so many different categories. Second in kills, averaging more than 4 per set, hits about 200, leads the ACC in aces, averages about 2 digs per set. Again, she does it all for the Blue Devils.
And the most impressive part to me today is the way she has done it has been extremely efficient. 34 swings, 16 kills, just 4 errors. That's a .353 hitting percentage, and you just mentioned a little over 200 on the season. So she's really stepped her game up, even though it's kind of hard to step up for being the second best in terms of kills per set in the ACC.
There's a reason why we highlighted these 2 players at the start of the broadcast. And it goes to show you got a senior in Gracie Johnson. You got the reigning ACC Freshman of the Year in Mabrey Shaffmaster, now doing even more her sophomore season as expected. But, man, it is just fun to see them go head-to-head.
Kind of a little bit of the changing of the guards here with Johnson playing her last game. She'll go on to whatever life has in store for her. But Shaffmaster still building, has that junior, that senior year.
So a big run here for Duke, tied at 18. Mabrey out of the Carolina timeout, and that will get the crowd back into it.
It wasn't pretty. Set was a little bit off, but Mabrey got just enough of it and put it in a spot where Duke's defense could not get to it.
And putting it into the net, Lizzie Fleming immediately knew it after it left her fingertips that she went too light.
She saw the opening. Blockers committed a little bit earlier. If she could have gotten that over into that corner near side of the net, would have dropped in for one.
May with a knuckleball serve. Johnson with the swing and the block. Sky Howard giving Carolina a 3-point lead.
Blockers get the point, but May has got to get the credit. This serve cut the court into a third. They only had one play, and it was to set it at the pin for Johnson. Easy read for Howard to set up.
And an ace as it just flips over the net.
For as much during that 7-0 run for Duke as everything went Duke's way, now it's starting to go Carolina's way. And this is one of the things I love about volleyball so much, is it is a game of momentum swings within a game of momentum swings.
So a 7-0 run for Duke, now a 4-0 run for North Carolina. May with another great dig. Here's Shaffmaster. Johnson into a wall. Sky Howard and Kaya Merkler. And this place is going nuts.
The hype around a rivalry like Carolina-Duke goes beyond just the players in the court, and you can hear it in the stadium.
Tar Heels now 2 points away from taking a 2-1 lead. And a 4-hit violation.
Fleming went around the setter for a slide. Chang set it straight like Fleming was going to go right up in front of her. Horrible time for a miscommunication there.
Set point for North Carolina on a 6-0 run. Johnson goes light with the attack for the kill. What a smart move.
Gotta love the adjustment that she makes. Previous two that had been set for her, Howard picked up the block on him. Instead of a full swing, she said, all right, if you're gonna be there, I'm gonna make sure it gets over your hands.
Impressive way to get her 17th kill of this match. Shaffmaster with the send over. Johnson again, but she's blocked again. And again it's Sky Howard teaming up with Merkler to end set 3. 25-19. North Carolina ends it on a 7-1 run. And they lead the match 2-1. We got a good one here in Chapel Hill. Don't go anywhere. Entertaining rivalry match here on this Wednesday afternoon inside Carmichael Arena. North Carolina ends set 3 on a 7-1 run. Take it 25-19 and now lead the match 2-1.
And it was the blocking that really took things over, propelled them to that second set, or that third set win, second set for the Tar Heels. You see 11 blocks for them in this match already, and it's been in the middle. Kaya Merkler, Sky Howard, 7 and 6 blocks respectively for those two. You go back and look at the matchup against Duke earlier this year, they had just 8 in all 4 sets.
Yeah.
Already 3 better than that today.
Merkler and Sky Howard with some big blocks in that 7-1 run to end it for the Tar Heels.
And it was who it came against too. 3 of them came against Johnson, 3 of the last 4 points for Carolina.
So the Tar Heels with an opportunity, just like they did in Durham last month, to knock off their rivals in 4 sets. Again, Duke, this is their regular season finale. For North Carolina, they still have Virginia coming up on Saturday, but we knew this one was circled ever since they met up last month. We knew it was going to be a fun one here in Chapel Hill, and man, it has lived up to the expectation.
Timing of it has really helped too, with the amount of people that are in the stadium because of the holiday being tomorrow. It has added an extra element of excitement.
Great atmosphere here inside Carmichael Arena this afternoon. As they're going to try to cheer on their Tar Heels to a victory here in set 4. Duke trying to send it to a 5th set. They are coming off of a 5-set match against Miami on Sunday, where they ended up losing 3-2. And that was a fun one as well for the Blue Devils. I mean, obviously they lost, but you look at the box score, 26-24. Set 3 was 25-23. Set 4 went 33-31.
Yeah, when you look a little bit bigger at how Duke's season has gone, lost 6 of the first 7 in ACC play, but as this season comes to an end, they've won now 4 of their last 6, and a lot of them have been 5-set wins. And you may look at that one way and say, well, they're playing really close ones that could have easily been losses. But I'm telling you right now, as a coach, Jolene Nagel is looking at it saying, these are freshmen that are seeing close matches, and they're learning how to win. It's not something they're going to have to do come next season when they're getting more of the playing time and these seniors are gone.
And even in those situations where you're losing the 5 sets and it was, oh, we could have done this better in set 3, or the momentum swing in set 4 here, a little bit different when you're playing underclassmen. Maybe in a couple years you have that expertise to make out those moves to pull out the victories.
Yeah, it's the understanding of what the difference between winning and losing is, and that margin for error being so small at this level.
Gracie Johnson enters the rounding for Duke.
Gracie Johnson, why not? Throwing another kill there for her. 18 now for the senior.
Definitely going out with a bang, regardless of what the result is for her team here today.
Babick sets it up. Shaffmaster off the block attempt. We'll try Mabrey once again. Back to Johnson for another kill. Running out of ways to say it.
Almost 450. Actually, I think she's gotten past that point. 450 kills on the season for her.
Yeah, she came in with 438. So yeah, she's eclipsed that 450 for the season. Wow. As good as Shaffmaster has been here today, Liv Mobridge has been equally impressive.
And that's a true freshman that they're going to have for the next 3 years. So you package her together with a Mabrey Shaffmaster, who's just a sophomore, and you can see why the Carolina coaching staff really likes what they have returning next year, the year after as well.
And she really likes to play against Duke. When they played last month, Mobridge had 9 kills and hit 471.
I just had to look at the sheet. Is she from North Carolina? Does she understand the rivalry? But no, she's from Florida. Must have gotten up to date with it pretty quickly. Some players, they just feed off that extra energy. And as a young player, seems like she's one of them.
This time of the year, obviously the theme throughout our broadcast today has been the rivalry of Duke and North Carolina. But this time of the year, Thanksgiving week, you see a lot of rivalry games for college at a lot of sports.
Yeah.
You got North Carolina taking on NC State tomorrow in football.
Friday. Gotta get through Turkey. Gotta get through Turkey Day first. But yeah, it's the end of the year for the fall sports, and you start getting those rivalries to finish off the seasons. And I mean, it makes it fun for every team and every fan base involved, because you don't necessarily have to be in the competition for a national championship or even getting to the NCAA tournament for it to be a fun match to get excited for.
Yep. Underwood stuck an arm out there to keep that alive for Duke. Joust at the net. Richardson gets it over. Here's Carrie Keefe with the kill. Another freshman. This one for Duke, getting it done.
With as much as Carolina was keying in on Johnson again towards the end of the third set, you knew Duke was going to look to some of those other players we saw step up in set 2 when they got the win.
Austin, one of the seniors for Carolina from Canada.
Hasn't been the cleanest game for Parker getting the start with Charlie being out sick, but 5th kill for her.
Tied at 5 here in set 4. Underwood gets it to the net. Here's Austin once again. Keefe blasting it through. How fun is it to see all these underclassmen for both teams stepping up?
The future of the rivalry.
635.
Here's Richardson. She'll get the kill. We haven't said her name a whole lot here today.
That's actually her first kill. She's been involved defensively, 6 digs, but first time she's gotten involved offensively. And you got to wonder with the bandaging you can see down around the thigh, the hamstring, that's got to be a part of the reason.
You see there, when they played back in October, she had a double-double. 11 kills, 11 digs. It's been a quiet day for Richardson.
That service error, the 7th of the match against Duke, and it brings me to a point. I'm looking at the stats here. Duke for the match has 10 more kills than Carolina does, 47-37. Yet it's 2-1 in favor of the Heels. It's because of mistakes like that, the service errors and the blocking that we talked about at the beginning of this set.
Wow. Where did she come from?
From Durham?
Gracie Johnson, Superman diving from the back row. And that was a great angle.
Yeah, haven't seen her come from the back row very often today, but man, she had a head of steam there.
And the response by Kaya Merkler.
Look what I can do too.
Oh, this is just getting fun now.
The first set where we've seen these two go back and forth. It seems like in the first 3, one or the other had jumped out to an early lead and then held on to it. Back and forth right now for this one.
Duke trying to keep this match alive, trailing 2-1. Here's Johnson, and the net, yeah, I was gonna say someone was in the net.
Couldn't tell if it was Babick or Merkler, but one of them, as they tried to get their hands up, very clearly caught the bottom of the tape.
9 serving 7. Good service to Brandon Champion.
Yeah, you see the net move well before the ball even gets there. And we'll make it 9-7. Shaffmaster.
Sometimes the defense can see what play is coming, but she can just out-jump them. And that's what happened here. Good job sliding over, getting the block set up, but sorry, I can jump higher.
She's up to 10 kills here this afternoon. Mogridge sending it over. Free ball for Shaffmaster. Richardson gets it back in play. Shaffmaster again. How about Babick? She'll slice it through.
Talked about how nice it is earlier to have a setter who can play all 6 positions and actually be somebody who can help out on the block. But when you're able to do that, you also have the height and the ability to go up and get a ball like that and spike it for the kill.
Babick standing at 6 foot. The freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, and now her teammates who are just a little bit taller than her. Mogridge with another block.
A dozen blocks in the match now for Carolina. Great job of shutting off the pin. That was Babick.
And now an ace. Everything that you've been talking about, Kyle, that has worked well for Carolina all match long is really under the microscope now because of the blocks and the service aces.
And it feels like the last 3 or 4 points, it's been exactly that way. The way the match has gone, Carolina winning those types of points.
Duke, somehow it feels like they are down by more than just 2. Now it's just 1.
Honestly, they got lucky because they were up by 2 before that run from Carolina started. Otherwise, they could have found themselves in a hole that may not have been one they could have dug out of. Segula arguing that call a little bit. It was a carry on Shaffmaster. He didn't think so, though.
A good tight battle here in set 4. Mobridge pumping it through.
She's up to double-digit kills now, tied with Shaffmaster, hitting 400 in this set, or excuse me, in this match. Doesn't have an attack error.
Wow. And another block for the Tar Heel defense. Mobridge is doing it all here in set 4.
With her, Howard, and Shaffmaster on the front line, this is as dangerous as Carolina is going to get at the net. Great pancake from Diaz just to keep that one alive.
Johnson whistles blow, and it's a net violation for North Carolina.
Service to Duke's Gracie Johnson, 11 serving 13.
What more can you say about Liv Mobridge?
I mean, this is just super impressive. The pass from Diaz was perfect so that Babbitt could get a quick middle, just perfectly executed by the Tar Heels there.
Racking up the kills, putting up the blocks. Shaffmaster on the back line for another service ace. Carolina up 15-11. Timeout on the floor. 15-11, North Carolina in front of their rivals from Duke here in set number 4. Rob Connick, Kyle Stroud back with you here inside Carmichael Arena. And right out of the timeout, that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Duke as Lizzie Fleming knocks down another kill. And if you're Duke, you're probably thinking, finally, we can get one past the blockers of North Carolina. Because we've seen a lot of stuffs here in set number 4 by the Tar Heels.
16 serving 12. Carolina service, Maddy May.
And another ace. As good as the blocks have been, the serving game for North Carolina has been unbelievable.
When you can get into double digits in both service aces and blocks, you're having yourself a pretty good day.
Yeah. Free ball for Sky Howard.
Might as well be another ace.
And a timeout called by Coach Jolene Nagel. Carolina trying to end it here in set 4 as they lead 18-12.
Carolina, through the first 2.5 sets, played pretty well at the net. Something changed, though, towards the end of that third set. I don't know if they saw something in Duke's attack or if it's just a personnel change, but especially with Sky Howard out there, Carolina has dominated the net the last set and a half. 13 blocks now in the match. 7 for Merkley, 6 for Howard, 5 for Mobridge, 5 for Babbitt. I mean, everybody is getting involved for them when it comes to the net play.
For Sky Howard, again, she missed a good amount of time this season because of injury. coming into today has appeared in just 51 sets, but in those 51 sets, 36 blocks. When she came back, she made a huge impact on the defensive side for Carolina, and it's just continued the last few weeks.
Extremely athletic player, and that's why she is so impactful at the net. A lot like what I said with Shaffmaster about just being able to out-jump the opposition. Sky Howard is the same thing. She can just out-jump the attacker, so good luck trying to hit it over her or through her.
The senior from Charlotte, we've mentioned how important this match is for the seniors on both sides.
And you know, the thing with the blocks is it's not just that Carolina has got 13. Duke's only got 5, and they had 3 in the first set alone. So they had 1 in the second set, 1 in the third. They haven't had one here in the fourth. You got to credit Carolina's offense with being able to spread the ball out enough that Duke hasn't been able to get 2 blockers set up. And when they do, it's late getting that middle to slide over.
Shaffmaster has been the right side all season long. She is no secret to anybody in the ACC. But when you get players like Liv Mobridge and Merkler involved in the middle, that's when it has worked for Carolina this season, and it has really worked here today.
And that's where, when I talked with Joe Segula at the beginning of the year, he said, we're a really young team. We're going to be a work in progress throughout the year because of that. But if you're looking at the bigger picture, this team growing together, there's youth, the freshmen and the sophomore that are out there right now. You got something to look forward to next year, year down the road.
Carrie Keefe with a big kill for the Blue Devils.
Duke really needs to go on a 4-5 point run here, get themselves back within striking distance.
Trying to keep this match and their season alive. Trying to send this to a 5th and final set. Mazer with the serve. Here's Merkler, dug up by Johnson, and now she'll get up for the attack, and it was tipped. Credit her, another kill.
Gracie Johnson.
Going out in style.
And if she could assist herself, I feel like she would.
Yeah. Dig it up, get it to herself.
Closing in on a double-double after that last dig. She's got 8 in the game.
Parker Austin with the swing. A one-arm save there by Underwood. Johnson with the send-over. Here's Howard getting up for the kill. Getting it done defensively, but she says, don't forget, I can bring the kills as well.
Half a dozen kills to go along with the half a dozen blocks. Talking about a 3-rotation player. She's on the front line, and then they bring in the DS, Karina Whirl, who's back to serve now.
Carolina 5 points away. What can Duke do to keep this match alive? It pinballs off them. They get it over. Shaffmaster with the return.
It was a really great read from Merkler in the middle. Saw that slide that Duke has run so much and was able to get over there and stuff it herself.
Joust at the net. Pinballs off the Devils once again. Parker Austin smashing it through.
I love that cross-court set. When you have multiple weapons, you're able to go to different players. Really nice dig from the freshman May to keep the ball alive there. And then you've got 2 to 3 hitters. That's what I was talking about before. The Duke block, not able to set up in front of one because there's 2 or 3 you have to keep an eye on.
Yep. Timeout taken by Duke as Carolina leads it 21-14 here in set 4. Trying to improve to 8 and 9 in the ACC.
11 aces in the match for North Carolina. I'd say about as many points have come that aren't aces, but have gotten Duke so out of system that it's an easy point for Carolina once they do get a hand on it. But it has just been a dominating performance, especially by Mabrey Shaffmaster, to dictate what Duke is going to do offensively with their ability to serve.
See the stat there, 11 aces.
And just 3 service errors from Carolina. So you're really aggressive serving and not hurting yourself very much. While Duke, who you see had got just 4 aces on the other side, shooting themselves in the foot.
And that was something that Coach Nagel mentioned to us earlier this week when we got a chance to talk with her about In order to get a rivalry win, what do you need to do? What do your players need to do? What was the difference in the loss to North Carolina last month? She said, we got to serve really well, and we got to serve receive really well. Easier said than done sometimes.
It is especially the receive part, but the serving is all in your hands. That's just something that as a player, you have to keep your focus, go out there and execute every single time you have the opportunity.
21-14. If you're just joining us, North Carolina took the first set 25-18. Duke responded, took game 2. Set 3 was fun. I'm trying to come up with adjectives or descriptors to mention how great set 3 was. It was tied at 18 after a 7-0 run by Duke, but then Carolina responded with a 7-1 run to end it. Here in set 4, Carolina has had about a 4, 5, 6 point lead throughout.
Yeah, it was about 8-8, I think, before Carolina really started to separate themselves here in this 4th set. So Duke can go on another run like they did last set. I thought the 3rd kind of embodied exactly what you would expect from this rivalry. Neither team giving up, a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum swings, crowd getting into it.
Another senior trying to go out in style. Parker Austin with another kill. And now she'll go back to serve. Tar Heels 3 points away. And she sent it wide left.
16 serving 22.
And she will have a seat. Olivia Diaz, the redshirt junior, will come in. Do the Blue Devils have another run in them to keep this alive? That's a good way to start, having a block.
Able to bring that far side pin player down to the middle. Carolina had no blocker or no swing, outside hitter at the top of the screen. Duke able to condense that defense at the net. First block this set for them.
Shaffmaster, rainbow shot over the block attempt.
Little basketball follow through afterwards. But I guess this is the house that Jordan built, right?
That's right. I was just thinking when Parker Austin came to the bench, how fittingly she's wearing 23 in Carolina blue. Johnson. What a match she has had for Duke. Here's Shaffmaster. Richardson trying to say something, but she sent it wide right. And it will be match point for the Tar Heels.
They've really tried to get Richardson involved here in this 3rd set, but you can tell just a little bit off.
Crowd making noise. Trying to sweep the rivals this season. Babbitt. And the kill for Mabrey to end it. North Carolina takes set 4, 25-17. And they defeat the rivals from Duke 3-1.
If you ever need a reason to why this rivalry is so good, watch this one on replay. A couple of teams that don't have any postseason to look forward to, but went out there and gave it their all because they've got their rival across the other side of the net. Highly entertaining match. Carolina just the better team this year.
For Duke and their senior Gracie Johnson, 24 kills on the flip side for UNC. How about Mabrey getting her 12th kill to end it? What a performance by both teams. This was a fun one. We'll have North Carolina's match against Virginia coming up on Saturday here on the ACC NX. For Kyle Straub and everyone involved, I'm Rob Conant. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.